Hello YouTube to my first ever kind of review. Kind of review, because it's not a review. It's not a full-blown in-depth review. It's gonna be kind of a review and kind of a comparison. Why do I sound like that guy from that thing? I don't know. It's not even my voice. This is my real voice. So this is what we're gonna do today. Kinda sound like John Wayne. I'm gonna review this dude here, the Hulk from Figma. No, I'm an idiot. That's not even out yet. This is the Hulk. I'm just dreaming. This is the Hulk from SH Figuarts. Yeah, the Figma Hulk. No, that thing's gonna be pretty cool. It's not even out yet. You just wait. So anyway, SH Figuarts. They do a lot of crazy shit. Can I cuss on YouTube? I don't even know. Never done this before. They got anime stuff for those weird Japanese kids that like to play with little girls in skirts. But then they've got Marvel stuff too. Like this guy, the Hulk. They also have Captain America, Thor, who just came out. And I'm waiting for it to arrive on my doorstep. Thor, they're gonna do Ultron. That's gonna be cool. I still don't know why I have an accent. Because I have no accent. This is my voice. I don't know why I'm talking with accents. Anyway, Ultron, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, mini Iron Men of all different varieties, which I don't have because I do have some pretty cool Figma Iron Men, and I'm happy with them. So I'm going to pass on Iron Man for now, but I have the other three, which maybe I'll do reviews on later. But anyway, this is, like I said, this is not only my first action figure review, this is my first YouTube video. Number 1. Let's mark it down. First video made, done. Not yet, I guess. I have to finish this and stop rambling. So anyway, Hulk came out couple months ago. They're all fairly new. This guy's pretty cool. I've got a couple more Hulks back here for comparison. You can't really do a review or a comparison on a figure if you don't have the other figures to review it based upon. In other words, if this were the only Hulk, well, it'd be the best, wouldn't it? Because it's the only one. But I've got some other hulking monster mother effers back here. We're going to compare this dude to these two because they're the best two. I've got a couple others, but they're pretty cool. They're not bad. I've got the Planet Hulk, and he's just kind of have one of the first Marvel Legends Hulks. Also kind of, I expect a lot from my Hulk. He's so badass and big and cool, and he's got one hell of a stare. Come on, get in there. Zoom in, camera. This is a new webcam. Never used it before till now, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Get to the job. I kind of sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, there's his face. Other reviews I've watched, his face is kind of one of the few complaints. Kind of anime-ish. Kind of weird, which I can see that, but in person, as you'll also hear on all these other reviews, it's really not so. If it will zoom in, if it will focus, come on. I see people put stuff, their hand behind, it makes it focus. It's not working. Focus. Autofocus my ass. But anyway, his face isn't so bad in person. It's actually pretty cool, pretty badass. I have his little accessories. Like I said, this isn't a full-blown review because I'm too lazy to get out his accessories because they're trapped down in my bag of crap. He's got a yelling face. Hulk screams a lot, so he's got a screaming face. It's meh. It's not so great. It's okay. As you can see on these other guys back here, Hulk usually has some kind of gnarly, scrunched up, angry face. This one does it pretty well. This Hulk looks like he just got a lobotomy. This Hulk, it's not bad. It's not bad. I have heard people say that the head size, the scale, is a little off with the rest of his body. I don't see it in person. I mean, maybe a little bit. It's kind of narrow, uh, but especially compared to the Marvel Legends guy, yes. I don't think it's as bad even as this guy, because he's gigantic, and he's got the smallest head of all three of them. Look up there. Dude, stop slouching. Look up. And forward. Like I said, he just looks like a weird goober. I don't know why it's focused on this dude back here. You're not even in. Get out of here, Ruffalo Hulk. So he's got a tiny little head. This is one of the 2-packs. I think Marvel Legends. I don't remember. He's pretty cool though. Anyway, back to the SH Figuarts. Sculpt wise, we'll kind of go over all the basics. This is gonna be pretty short and sweet. Sculpt, pretty awesome. I mean, he's got muscles where he should have muscles. He's, you know, he looks like he could probably kick somebody's ass if he had to. He's not the bulkiest of Hulks, which I think he should be a little bulkier. He really just looks like a normal steroided up bodybuilder, with the exception of his gigantic hands. But it looks cool. It's well sculpted. They've got all the little details where they need it, on the front, on the back, you name it. His feet have nice sculpting and detail to them. So sculpting's well done. Paint apps. Again, I don't know this. I've never done this before. I don't know all the professional terms. Bear with me. Paint apps. Let's throw out a big term here. Dry brushing. I really don't know what that is, but I think it is. Well, they're gonna use that to add kind of texture and depth, a little more detail to all the lines on his body. In other words, it makes him pop a little more compared to flat plastic, where the detail is all in the sculpt. There's hardly any paint work, so everything you see is only what's there. Whereas to this, looks like he's got a little more depth from the shading that they use. Really well done. On top of that, he's got little details here and there, little veins. Again, back to paintwork, fingernails. Real basic paintwork, as with all Hulks, are just green plastic with green paint and blue pants for the most part. Nothing too intricate, but well done. Looks good. Fun to hold and touch. It's just a well-made figure. As not that this is a bad figure, but as opposed to kind of the Marvel Legends stuff that's cheaper. So it's not that it's bad, it's just cheap, and you can tell it's cheap. Again, sculpt for kind of the other Hulks aren't too bad. It's pretty generic. I mean, Hulk's just one. It's kind of hard to mess up the Hulk. He's just a big Hulk of greenness. How do you mess that up? But where you can mess up, I guess you can mess up. No, that's stupid. You can mess up paint and sculpt. They do it all the time. But this guy from SH Figuarts, not so bad. He's pretty well sculpted. So, thumbs up in that category. Articulation, definitely a place where people can mess up. I don't know what goes through these people's heads. I know they try and mix pretty with functional. Those are two things that just don't mix. You either get one or the other, or you get something in between, like those, or the McFarlane, I don't remember, the Terminator action figures that were statues from the waist down and kind of moved up top. That's trying to mix their functionality with making something look pretty. It's just it doesn't work. You kind of have to have one or the other. So anyway, this guy leans a little more towards functionality, which is nice. That's what I like in my action figures. Action, keyword. They're supposed to do shit. Action-y. Standing around in one pose is not action, unless you're one of those guys that does that for a living, and that's probably all the action you see. But anyway, these guys, they should move. That's the whole point of an action figure. He does it pretty well. The flip side of that is not so pretty in some cases. We'll go over the real basic stuff. Head movement, of course, yada yada, left, right, up, down pretty well. Big muscle in the back keeps his head from looking too far up. His hairline hits that muscle, and actually straight is really as far up as he looks. Arm articulation, again, real basic stuff. They kind of use funky, funky type of articulation. I don't know the term for their articulation, but kind of a ball hinge for the arm that's attached on the inside here to, it's like a barbell hinge. It's got two ball hinges, one on the inside that allows full movement and rotation, and then the outside one allows the exact same kind of articulation as well as the hinge. So that extra ball joint in there allows what they were hoping for would be the use of this butterfly joint. Does not work at all, hardly. You can move it in a little bit, back a little bit, in a little bit, back a little bit. I've kind of figured that if I hold that joint still, he actually gets just about the exact same of movement from his arm, so that this little butterfly joint doesn't do much of anything, which is unfortunate because they sacrificed the look of the figure for that articulation. You can see how ugly that joint is, yet it doesn't really give me any extra mobility because his arm can only go forward that much, which is normal. If that butterfly joint were to really be working, his arms would come all the way across his chest. He'd be able to put his hands together and do a nice little Hulk clap. He can't. He looks like frickin' Frankenstein walking around with his arms out. I guess it does kind of work for the opposite direction. You can get his arm back pretty far, that is nice for some poses when you're wanting him to just bring down the fists of fury and destroy everything in his path. So I'll take that. Those butterfly joints kind of come into play there a little bit. For example, someone without that butterfly joint, I can get his arm just as far back. So I don't really see the need for these joints, and you can see how ugly they are. That's no thanks. I'd rather fill that with green putty and call it a day. That's just ugly. If they're going to sacrifice how well the figure looks to add in this crazy articulation, they should make it work. I've got action figures that are so articulated they can reach around their body and grab the other side of their ass cheek. That's how well they move and how agile and articulated they are. This guy, we're starting to lack a little bit. They went fancy, didn't work, which is a shame. The rest of his arm, that was just one joint. Shit. Instead of a true double jointed elbow, they've got this crazy kind of 2-in-1 joint that it bends in one spot up to 90 degrees, and then the other part of the joint also bends, but it's all still connected with this one piece. And you're saying, well, that's a true double joint right there. But let's look at the Marvel Legends one. So he's got maybe they are kind of the same. Just looks different on this one because anyway, my point is the mechanism is more internal in his arm, which I guess is nice because you don't have these pegs for where they're connected to each part of the arm. So you have one piece, two pieces, three pieces. You still have all three pieces, but you can't really tell they're connected inside the arm instead of coming through to the outside where there would be little peg holes. So I guess it is still kind of a true double jointed elbow. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, for movement wise, you still get pretty much 90 degrees and then some, to where he can curl up over his bicep. But again, being the Hulk, his muscles usually get in the way of his articulation. Same case here. He can't do much more than 90 degrees because of his bicep. That's okay though. Hands are on little bitty ball pegs, to where it moves inside the arm. See if I can, you can kind of see the other end of the barbell back there. That's what I'm calling it, barbell. That's what it looks like. Like I've ever seen a barbell. Look how skinny I am. I've never seen a barbell. So you get the movement at the wrist at any direction, plus when his hand is on there, it too can have excuse me, any directional movement. Again, the only problem is his mass, his bulk, keeps that from doing really too much moving. You can get pretty good forward. I mean, that's not bad. It looks like you. Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, look to the stars. Ah, Mr. Universe. Ha! The true Mr. Universe, the Planet Destroyer, World Breaker, whatever the true name is. Anyway, moving on. Same for both arms. He does have interchangeable hands from the fist to the I'm going to squash your head, open hand, palming type deal. Chest articulation, not bad at all. I think it's just a basic, I don't know what the name for that joint is, I forget. But he's able to do ab crunch pretty well, and with, like I said earlier, how well his head looks down, he can look down and check out his stuff pretty easy. He looks back, or he bends back decent. That's kind of hard to tell how, let's get his arm out of there. There we go. So there's straight, there's forward, there's backward. It's not a huge, more so forward than back. Back's okay. You don't go too far back because again, you start seeing all these ugly creases. He does have a waist swivel as well as that chest swivel. I mean, he can go kind of all direction with the chest, left, right, up, down, yada yada. Waist swivel, that's all for his waist. Legs, this is where the improvement comes in my eyes. I think one of the biggest bits of articulation that I hate more than anything on this planet, and if I do more reviews, if this one doesn't suck so bad that I get to do other reviews, you'll see this in the future. So these little leg joints that you can either kick forward or kick out. You can't do both. There's a lot of DC figures that, heck, you can move those legs in any direction you want. Doesn't hinder you one bit. But Marvel Legends, for whatever reason, Legends and a few other lines, decided that, well, we're not going to let you do both. Why? This isn't America. You can't do things you want to do. We're going to tell you what you get to do. So you can either move his leg out, and when it's in that, when the little hinge is in that position, I can't move it forward unless I want to rip it off his body. So you have to twist it to move it forward. That's the stupidest thing on the planet. I don't know who came up with that. I'd like to slap them. You can get a perfectly, again, remember, functionality with, we're going to call it prettiness, how well something looks. You can still get a good looking hip joint or upper leg joint. You can still make it look nice and have it function. SH Figuarts does that pretty well. In fact, getting rid of that weird ball joint, they've got something that looks a little more streamlined, a little more like an upper leg would look. I don't know who has giant round things at the top of their thigh. It's just strange. Like, that Hulk's been working out at a bad gym. So anyway, these look a little more natural. You can go forward if you so choose, and at the same time it can go out. That's amazing. Both at once. So this is more of a T joint than that weird ball joint. But anyway, for his leg articulation, like I said, they do go forward pretty well. He's got this upper thigh articulation to where it rotates, and there's a bit of a dip or a cut there that you can actually turn it sideways and get a little more out of the articulation. Again, his mass or his bulk of his thigh kind of keeps him from lifting his leg too far unless you twist it. I'm okay with that because you can still get the movement you want. For the splits, he can go out, heck, all the way, which is nice. Both legs, again, have that upper thigh rotation. Double jointed knee, same kind of deal where the mechanism is all internal, but unfortunately it kind of shows. Just becomes one long, strange piece that shouldn't be there, but that's how, every action figure has that, so I can't complain about how that looks. Double jointed, can get it back again 90 degrees and then some. His giant calves get in the way of anything more than that. For the legs, he's got again your basic ball joint, up and down movement, and rotation, and then the way that it pegs into his foot, you do get a little bit of rotation as well. Oh, my hand's in the entire. I should have been watching my damn screen. Y'all can't see anything. My hand's in the way. So he does get a little bit of ankle rotation, which is nice. That always comes in handy. Again, and the basic up and down, side to side, and he does have toe articulation so that he can stand at weird angles and not fall over. So that's nice. I think that's pretty much all the articulation for that, for this dude. Scale, I guess that's another thing that's pretty important. Scale, he's kind of on the smaller side. All the SH Figuarts are on the smaller side, so that's not a huge breaker. When they're all compared next to each other, it's fine. He's still big enough that he can fit in with your Marvel. I said it again. Who the hell is Marvel? He will still fit in with your Marvel Legends figures. I'll show you that here in a second, but he's really, if I can get this guy to cooperate, he's really not too much smaller than the Marvel Legends Ruffalo Hulk from, I don't remember what movie this one's from. Oh, the Avengers. I think this is the Avengers Hulk. I don't know. That's the first Hulk, isn't it? No, I have that one. This must be the other Age of Ultron Hulk. Aha, it is. He just came out 6 months before this guy, so I forgot what movie he is from. But anyway, he's just, the SH Figuarts is just a little bit smaller. I mean, just barely centimeters. His head is just a little smaller. His mass-wise, he still has it pretty well through his chest. He's still got big meaty thighs, and still pretty muscular for his arms. That's not bad. I mean, like I said, he just looks like a guy that's worked out a lot, which is actually kind of the same for this guy. He's just a big green guy. I mean, he doesn't. If he weren't green, I think he's just a dude. Because I say that because this is how the Hulk should look mass-wise. He should have arms that are so giant he can't even bend them 90 degrees. Not that I want that. I'd rather have this articulation or this articulation than what this guy has. But visually, I mean, the Hulk should just be gigantic. And this guy has it. He's got muscles bigger than God knows what in places you don't want to know where. Just a decent figure. Good articulation. Not as nice as these two, but it'll do for the Hulk. If only he didn't have this funky face sculpt and haircut and ugh. But as nice as these other two figures are, I think the SH Figuarts one is probably, in my opinion, a little nicer. I don't know why. I think it might be This one's a little older, so he lacks some of the updated joints that have come along recently. Or maybe he's just so big they couldn't add those joints. Again, the more recent Marvel Legends stuff is just cheap. The plastic is cheap. They skimp on a whole lot of stuff. There's no paint work. The sculpt itself is just kind of blah. The plastic they use just looks real rough and unrefined. I mean, I could take an X-Acto or a sandpaper to this thing and kind of clear up a lot of the little crap that they leave around on all their action figures. It's just kind of eh. I mean, it's alright. If you don't have another Hulk, this one would do just fine. I do, though. So I'm picking the nice expensive one. It costs about twice, maybe even triple what these guys cost. Maybe not brand new. I got that freak on eBay, but pretty expensive. But again, you can see the quality is there. Quality is always nice to have for adult collector's items. If I wanted something cheap, I'd go buy Marvel Legends stuff, which I do sometimes. So that's okay. But great figure all around. If your Hulk collection is lacking, I'd say definitely give this guy a look. Another thing, people get real picky about their color of Hulks. Here you've got 3 different colors. You've got kind of a highlighter green, it's kind of almost a forest green. He's just real dark, and again the shading almost it's just very dark, which I don't care. Green's green, they all look good. And then this one's kind of a brownish green, a little more earthy tone. They're all alright. I don't have a preference of color for any of these guys. He's pretty bright. He does stand out a lot. So that's something else to consider. So I guess this one would be a little more realistic-ish. Hulk, realistic, right, whatever. So that's one thing to consider. But if you're thinking about purchasing any of the SH Figuarts, again, I'll try and do reviews on all. The Captain America I have, and then the Thor that I will have soon, hopefully very soon. What else? What else, Hulk? What else? See, if he could bend his arm right, he could get his hand under his chin and look like he's thinking, and he can't. But that's okay, because Hulk doesn't need to think. He just needs to smash. Right? Right. Well, end of review. Good product. If you have the money, I'd say it's really worth a buy. It'll fit in with your collections, and it's fun to play with. So, Hulk. Thumbs up. Right? Give him a thumbs up, Hulk. Okay, thanks for tuning in to my first ever video. I'll catch you on the flip side, mother.